Welcome in everybody to another week of First Seed Fantasy. We're back 2 weeks into the fantasy season. Week two just took place. An awkward, weird, tough doubleheader Monday, but it doesn't matter. We're on to week three, and with that, we are First Seed Fantasy here to chat. Week three starts and sits. I am Kyle Krajewski, joined by two beauties, Mike Del Corso and Dante Botts. We'll start with Dante. Dante, how you doing, man?
Good, man. It's good to be back. I'm sorry I missed you guys for the mock. That's my favorite time of the year, but it is what it is. Had to get a new computer. We're locked and loaded. And yeah, ready to get back into fantasy and start, projecting false projections with my favorite friends. So let's do it.
Mike, how about you, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. My boys are off to a 2-0 start. Fantasy's great, and there's just a lot of points this year. So I'm happy so far. Can't complain.
A lot of points, a lot to talk about. But let's get into it. Starts and sits. This isn't necessarily you have to sit this guy, you have to start this guy. More of a like a boom bust. Like we see this guy having a very good week. We could see this guy having a very bad week. It just kind of like seeing the potential ups and the downs of these players. So we may call it start sits, but think of it more as a who we like a lot this week and who we don't like a lot. So without further ado, I will get us started here. And my start of the week is tight end, who may still be on your waiver wires. Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is a guy who I will just go out and say I would much rather be starting this week and probably the next few over Kyle Pitts. And basically the other tight ends that aren't just doing it for you, like Higbee or Everett or any other late round tight end. I think Zach Ertz can probably just slot right in there, probably still on your waivers. And I mean, we're looking at it on screen right now. 10 targets week one, 8 targets last week, 6 receptions in both weeks. Facing a tough couple defenses here in Dallas and San Fran, but I mean, he's the only guy getting targets on this offense. So with the tight end who's getting targets on a team that apparently likes to score but not win, get give me Zach Ertz, give me the targets, give me the volume in the tight end position, which is hard to come by this season somehow. But give me Zach Ertz. I'm actually really excited for what he could do this week, the next few weeks, and hopefully he continues getting these targets.
I mean, who would have thought that Zach Ertz would have been more reliable tight end than Kyle Pitts going into week three, huh? Not me.
Yeah, no, that's something crazy. Some we definitely did not expect for old man Ertz, but still very efficient and a positive game script this week. So I love it. And speaking of positive game scripts, my start of the week is going to be Raheem the Dream. Raheem Mostert. And this is a positive flex play, I think, where you drafted him. If you did, he's definitely going to be a great flex play this week. And he's going up against the Denver defense that allowed over 4.5 yards a carry to both Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson, even though he only had 2 carries in the game. I think it's a positive game script. Miami's offense is really clicking right now. And Raheem, as long as he's healthy, man, he's going to give you weeks like last week where they're just pounding the rock with him, and he's going to find the end zone. So give me Raheem in the flex this week. I love him.
Yeah, I think as long as Mostert is the primary healthy running back in this offense, you're starting him without a doubt.
All right, and then for my start, I'm going to go with Joshua Kelly in the Chargers running back. Not a great week two, but if you follow Tennessee, you know that their run defense is the best in the league, at least last season. This season, they're tied for third. So, it's expected that he was going to not produce as well. But Keenan Allen, on top of that, had a massive week. They were just airing the ball out. It was that type of game. He only had 2 attempts inside the 20-yard line, which, I mean, is awful. This week, they play Minnesota. That just allowed 27 points to DeAndre Swift. And should the game plan allow for him to get those touches, we should see something along the lines of week one where, 16 attempts for 91 yards and a touchdown. Hopefully we get some reception work in there as well. But Yeah, I foresee Joshua having a bounce back week against Minnesota.
Beautiful. I can see it happening too. Even if Eckler were to play, I can picture the timeshare kind of benefiting Kelly to a slight extent, like we saw week 1. All right, my sit is probably a guy everybody was fiending for this waiver wire week. It's Matt Breida, the who looks to be the starting running back of the Giants this week, and he's my sit because I don't think this is a full-time role for Breida this week. I think it's going to be maybe a 65% Breida week. And even then, it's against a tougher San Francisco defense, who we may have seen Kyron Williams destroy last week, but this is the Giants, and their offense looks a little bit weaker. So I'm not excited about Breida. You may have claimed him maybe for a week 4 start, but for week 3, it's looking a little bit shaky for me to feel comfortable with him in my starting lineup.
Yeah, I'd agree. Whenever I do start sits, I always look at flex plays, and Breida is just one that you got to have someone on your team that's a better option this week. And if you don't, oof, you should have followed our draft guide. Uh, Starting with my sit here, sit of week 3. I'm kind of going off of Kyle's start here. My sit's going to be Hollywood Brown. 2 games into the season so far, Arizona really hasn't played anybody good. And Zach Ertz is the leading receiver, and they've struggled in those games. So against a Dallas defense where it's going to be mostly hot routes and just a lot of ugliness, I'm going to stay away from Hollywood Brown. I have better options in my flex, such as Raheem Mostert, my start of the week. So I'm staying away from Hollywood this week. Not a play.
Yeah, it's hard to know what you're gonna get out of that receiving core with Joshua Dobbs. Who that's his
It's
quarterback?
Dobbs. It's
Yeah,
Josh Dobbs.
exactly. You saw how I just didn't know right there because who is that? So who knows what you're gonna get out of them? But if I had to take a guess at someone from that offense other than Marquise, um, Michael Wilson is someone that I like a lot. Coming up, he's a rookie, but outside of that, it's really slim pickings over there. For my sit, I'm gonna go with Jerome Ford. Prayers to Nick Chubb. If you saw that injury, it was devastating, and we just hope for a speedy recovery for him. But as far as fantasy goes, Jerome Ford last week had a pretty good week, 16 for 106, and then 3 receptions for 25 yards and a touchdown. I don't expect that to happen this week, just based on the fact that he's going against Tennessee. Tennessee last season allowed the fewest yards per game to running backs last year. It was 76.9 yards. And they're tied for 3rd this year with San Francisco and Cleveland. So it just doesn't bode well for him. And as well as the Kareem Hunt addition, they have announced that Jerome Ford was going to be the lead back, but we just don't know how Kareem Hunt is going to be utilized this game and whether those touches will be valuable touches. So I just feel like if you have a better option than Jerome Ford for this week, I'd rather lean on that other option just because Tennessee is a really they're really big defense in terms of stopping the run. So
Yeah, I love it. It's gonna be definitely a hard play. I do love Jerome Ford as a running back, but I think with the new addition of Hunt, I think at least in that first week, it's gonna be a little bit of a 50-50 just to see if Kareem Hunt still has the wheels underneath him. And obviously, just being a terrible matchup, there's a lot of heavy press on Deshaun Watson right now about how he's playing awful, and I think this is the week that he turns it around. So I like the sit there.
Beautiful picks, fellas. Beautiful picks for sits, bold picks for starts. And I love it. But now that we've discussed a little bit of fantasy, let's talk our betting locks for the week.
Let's do it.
Our picks.
3-leg parlay. Start it off. What's the
Let's
first
start it
leg,
off.
Kyle?
All right, first leg. I'm going with an under. Saints, Packers, under 42.5. I think we're seeing a Saints defense that can just shut down opposing offenses. They are looking really good. Green Bay could struggle against this, and on top of that, I don't see the Saints offense doing much better. So I see this kind of being a game controlled by the Saints, keeping it under that 42.5.
I like it. Leg number 2 of this 3-leg parlay. I'm going to add on another under. We're a bunch of haters this week, but I'm going on the under on Atlanta and Detroit, under 46.5. I just think that this matchup in general, with Detroit kind of losing its bell cow back, is going to look a little bit different. And I think both offenses, although have been efficient, haven't really been top scoring. Detroit had a great week last week against a terrible defense. We'll see if it continues, but I'm taking the under. I'm going for a run-heavy game script. Give me the under in that one, and that's going to be the second leg. Dante, what is the third leg of this one, man?
The third leg is probably the juiciest. No, I'm joking, but it's a boring pick. But it's Eagles -4.5, -115. Listen, if you think Baker's gonna dice them up against Philly, I don't know what you're smoking, but let me have some. Jalen Carter already looks like one of the best D tackles in the league. I just don't think that it's going to be a really particularly competitive game. So I got Philly -4.5.
So back to back. That is Saints Packers under 42.5, Falcons Lions under 46.5, and then Philadelphia Eagles -4.5 against the Buccaneers. Lock those 3 in.
Lock it in, baby.
And with that, fellas, great week chatting with you. Looking forward to benching my Hollywood Browns and starting my Josh Kellys this week. And
Yes,
claiming a good chunk of money with that three-leg parlay. So
cash it in.
Thank you for tuning in. We are First Seed Fantasy. Like, comment, subscribe, follow,
Tap
DM
the bell.
us, tap the bell. You know what to do. But either way, thank you for tuning in, fellas. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
See you guys.